What's good, y'all? This is Tony for Their Radio. We have here another very special guest here in Their Radio. Head director of Scratch Academy, New York. Producer, DJ. They say club connoisseur, pioneer, Marvelito. How you doing, bro?
Appreciate you, man. Happy to be here, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm finally here.
Yeah.
Their Radio. Like I've been checking it out, so I'm just happy to be here.
We've definitely been talking about it for a minute. West Coast, man. You're here on the West Coast. And
Yes.
we always see Tones coming out here.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Chihuahua, we've seen Sonidera Blues, we've seen Mills here.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, like when is Marvelito gonna come out here to the West Coast, man? You're finally here. But how does it feel, man? How does it feel to be here on the West Coast?
It's great, man. Just been out here with the family. It's my second time here. I've only been here one other time, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Spun some parties out here back in like 2016. So it's been great to be back. And I love LA. Like just being out here. We were at like the NAMM show, spun a party last night in downtown LA. Big shout out to Henry and to Yvonne and to everybody, my man SJ. So it's great to be here, and it was great to see you yesterday, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great set. We're out there. I was telling my girlfriend, because me and my girlfriend, like, we listen to y'all, right? Whenever y'all spin at the Lot Radio, we're like, bro, Mills is sick. Like, we got to go check out Mills, but we also got to go check out Marvelito now that they're out here. And we had a great time. We were out there. We love dancing. The low-key, I'm not going to lie to you, how often we go to afters is not very often, So I was like, if there's a few people who are gonna pull us out to the afters, it's gonna be y'all. So we had a great time out there.
I appreciate that, man.
It is your second time here. I want to ask you, what was the first time here in LA? What was it like for y'all? Or what were you doing out here?
So I came out here to spin a couple events and like parties.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of like one was a ham on everything heaven event. Party, and it was like like hip hop and club music, and then another one was at the Lash. It was like a club, and I believe it's downtown. And yeah, it was dope, man. I had that was my first time in LA. I loved it. Like I said, this time too, it's like it's a change of pace. I feel like it's just so different.
Did you meet anyone when you were out here, like that you were able to create music with or connect with afterwards?
When I was first out here, I was really like, I felt like I was just like seeing the city, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
came out here with my fam, and I was like blessed to like play those events. But I was really just kind of like, checking it out. Like came to see friends that I had known from before. So
yeah.
And those it was funny too, cause like at those parties, it was dope because I was like able to kind of showcase like the beginnings of like what we were doing with like that, and like my sound with club music and hip hop and all that. So it was a blessing to come out here, but it kind of feels like ages ago. That feels like so long ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was different, right? Like even thinking about like Jersey Club and stuff, what was going on at the moment, right? It was sounding different at the moment. What do you remember about club music at that point?
That time was a dope era of Jersey Club, and like I'll say for us in New York at that time, because that was like an era where, I mean, it was way different. I say now there's so many more lanes, and like I love now, like, you know what I mean, and the future, but back then was dope. It was like the Webster Hall era. We was DJing that, doing a lot of like club music and hip hop together. It was like, like Big O Pop That was like a hit at the time. Like it was just a dope era, and so it was cool, man. That was like kind of like, at the time I was working at Scratch, and Scratch was down the street from Webster Hall. So I used to, I was just like TAing, teaching my little classes, and then like I'll have like my friends come through and we would cut it up. Yeah. They would bring through folks, Blanco Mills was young at the time, but Blanco used to be over there. Yeah. It was dope, man. It was cool. It was a great era. So yeah. But it's different now because the music, there's so much more like variety and a lot of different like, especially in New York, is mad young kids making club music. Yeah. And like, a lot of my new mixes, you hear a lot of that, like the current sound of like club music.
Yeah. No, that's sick. Well, before we get into that, I do want to talk about, you mentioned Scratch Academy. So recently it's been a year, right, since you've been the head director at Scratch Academy. A little bit over. Man, how's that experience been for you, that journey with Scratch Academy?
It's been so dope, man. Like honestly, I feel really blessed but also like, you know, it's something that like I don't take lightly because it's something that I've done for a very long time, like teaching music and DJing, and it's amazing to have the opportunity, and like, you know, we've been working hard, just have an amazing staff, amazing team, that everybody's so incredible individually.
I saw you share that in one of your posts. How you said you mentioned that one of the first things you did as a director, was something that y'all did as a team, was move the location of Scratch, right?
Yep.
Why was that important, or like why did y'all do that?
There's a lot of like different things that went into it, but for me, the area, we needed to kind of like, you know, a lot of the stuff that we was doing and still doing, like it's in Brooklyn, and it's in like, you know, Bushwick and Williamsburg, Bushwick area, Ridgewood, and so we were DJing, and we still DJ a lot on a outlet called Newtown Radio.
Oh yeah.
And Newtown Radio is like, it's a really important space to Brooklyn and to New York City, and then also to like that story, especially in the last 5 years. So we were in that area a lot. So we just decided to move to like a space over there, and there's a lot. It's like, you know, especially for all of us, we're able to do a lot of work in that area. It's kind of like a central area. So that was like kind of the first like task that I had as you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hey man, I was watching one of the wanted to prepare for this interview. I was watching one of your early interviews was for Scratch Academy.
Yeah, made from scratch. Yeah.
and you were there with no beard, man. No beard. And that Stussy cap.
Young boy.
Yeah, man. But you were talking about
I wish I still had that.
The cap?
Yeah.
But something you were talking about was how you first got interested in DJing, right? And you were talking about like a middle school dance.
Yeah.
What could you tell me about that experience? Like when you first really got into, you know what, this is something I want to do, is DJ.
I would say like DJing, like it's always been something that's around me, like hip hop and like doing my thing with DJing, scratching, turntablism, and like making mixtapes, especially. That was like my first love.
Did you used to make some when you were younger?
I always do. Like that's part of, you know, like with CDs and but I would say like where I really realized like what like kind of like what I do now, and like, you know, just like the current, like, you know, what you see as Marvelito, and my thing is when I was probably like, you know, like in school, college age, like, you know, 20, 21, I was doing my radio, and I was doing parties, and I was able to do a lot of different, like, that's when I started to really connect the dots with like, all right, I want to you know, like really push artists in my sets and like take chances, you know, like I love to like, you know, get people dancing and make people happy in that way, but I also like to like throw music into, you know, like I like so I would say like that was when when it all came together for me, like as far as like what you see now as like, you know, like the current, like, you know, like my style, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Would do you remember? Do you have any memorable parties from those times, from one of those early times?
I would say like I used to do a lot of different stuff, in Bushwick, like particularly like, you know, just like different like house parties, and like, you know, like at that time it was you know, they of course clubs in New York, but there was always like a lot of like, you know, it'd be like the basement of like a apartment building or something. We used to do a lot of stuff. I remember I did like a thing called something for BK Wildlife, where they were doing like, you know, like these warehouse joints. So like that era was, like I said, it was like where I was able to kind of like take that chance. And like start to like not be like, all right, I'm just gonna play like, you know, like do gigs and you know what I'm saying? Like then I started to be like, all right, now I can see how I could, you know, go and you know, like put artists on through my mixes, and like, you know, really push my sound, what I think, you know, what I think should be popping.
Did you have any influences at those moments where you're like, oh shit, like, you know, if they can do it, then I can see myself doing that too?
I always like, because I love like, you know, digging on SoundCloud and just like, you know, finding like, you know, like finding certain sounds with Jersey Club and like Baltimore Club that like really can connect with the dancers when I'm DJing. I would say like I really like to take like my influences is more like, you know, like the mixtape DJs, like hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever music I spin, I always spin it like hip hop, and that's how I present, you know, my music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scratching and putting my drops all over it,
Yeah.
and just like, you know, like you know, rest in peace K Slay, you know, DJ
Mhm.
Clue, even like a lot of the turntablists that I love, DJ Craze, so many, man.
Yeah.
But like that's where I like, you know, what, like I said, whatever music that I'm spinning, I like to try to take influence from that era, because that's kind of like what I love, you know.
Hell yeah.
And the style that I love.
Hell yeah,
Mhm.
hell yeah, bro. I feel like when we're talking right now, you talk a lot about. I feel like your mind is very into the future, into like what's next and like what's happening, how you're pushing shit to the next level, right?
Yeah, man. I like, it's always what's in front of me, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing like, you know, like it's easy to get caught up in the past, and you would learn from the past. You know, you gotta learn from
hell
it.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with looking back and like, you know, but also it's like everything's in front of us, you know.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just got to think to the future. That's me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, thinking about that, thinking about the future, and thinking about how like speak specifically like that, and like helping push like not only Jersey Club but also Kumbia out there.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, I want to ask you, and Tones and Mills and
Yeah.
SJ, they've all kind of referenced you as kind of like also like a point that's helped support them into
Shout out to them,
into their work, right?
Mhm.
But I want to ask you, like, who were some of those people who were kind of teaching you the ropes, or kind of putting you in their wings, or maybe not even sometimes, you know, sometimes it's just kind of indirect, but
Yeah.
people who you feel like have kind of laid some type of groundwork for the work you do.
Oh man, there's so many, man. There's so many. For me, it's like a lot of different people, man. I gotta give a shout out. You know what I'm saying? My man Ed. You know, like he put me on. He's not like a DJ, but he really showed me a lot of things, and I always like gotta give him a shout out. But for me, to be honest, I really have like, there's so many different people in different times of my life who like who shape what I do, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, like whether it be with teaching, I could tell you somebody, you know, somebody in that lane, someone who I look up to. So maybe I'll go with that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Maybe I gotta give a big shout out to my man Gonzalo Silva, because I think that he really, it's not someone who I'll say like show me the ropes, like you know, showing me like. But he's somebody who I saw, and when I was kind of like putting, you know, just starting to teach, because when I was first teaching at Scratch, like I didn't really think of it like I really liked to do it, but I didn't, like I had to go and do a bunch of it first, you know?
Yeah.
So seeing him and how he puts on, and how he has so many, you know, like the amount of folks that he's able to teach, and you know the way he approaches it, he really like inspired me to like, and also just I admire him as an artist, and a DJ as well. So it's like that combination. I aspire to that,
bro. You mentioned him, Gonzalo Silva,
mm-hmm.
And Tim Dalla.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like a really cool track that y'all put out with like that, right?
Yeah,
Chavo Loco.
Chavo Loco, yeah.
Before I get into,
he was playing that last night.
I know, I heard it. I'm like, bro, you hear that? I was telling my girlfriend, like, you hear that? Said Chavo.
Yeah.
But before I get into the story of that track, I do want to ask you about that track. I want to talk a little bit more about your fam, and I know your grandfather was also a great artist, right? And his name is Abraham Stavans. And he was also in episodes of Chavo, right?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
What could you tell us about that, man?
Rest in peace to him. God bless. That's my grandfather. And, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, like I'm very blessed to like have fam who like, you know, they always push me with art. They always like, I was around it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that track actually, you know, that track came together, because my grandfather, he was in a bunch of Mexican soap operas, especially like later in his life. You know, he was acting his whole life, doing his thing. And so he was in El Chavo del Ocho.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, that's my grandfather. Like, you know, he passed away 7 years ago. Yeah, man, I used to go every year to spend time with him.
Yeah.
And he came to see me a lot, and yeah, like huge influence on my life and just like how I see things, spending time with him, going around Mexico City with him. You know what I'm saying? He showed me a lot, you know what I'm saying? Just like put me on to different stuff, just being around him and my cousins. And I appreciate you asking me that. No one's really like, no one know, like, it's cool because like people don't know like the story of that record, and I talk about I'm mad proud of that record.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And proud of that connection, because it's just very influential in my life.
Hell yeah, man. Tim Dollar, that's a legend.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a legend for sure.
And I have to shout out Gonzalo Silva for that, because that's really how that record came together. He came to scratch with DJ 0 for 1. Shout out to DJ 0 for 1, dope DJ. And he gave me a bunch of music back in like 2016. And El Chavo Loco was in that folder. He gave me a bunch of fire shit because him and Tim Dollar had did a bunch of records under a name called Silver Dollar.
That's fire.
Yeah, and so I'll let there's more info on the record, but I'll be honest, one day I feel like Gonzalo could tell the story about the record, because again, rest in peace Tim Dollar, God rest his soul. We did an amazing interview with him that Flower Shark, Ebony DJ Flower Shark had did about the record, and like I said, I would love for one day Gonzalo gonna talk about how that record came about.
That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. But I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that y'all still spin it. It's a Like That release. It's definitely part of the story, right? Part of the Like That story as well.
And it's funny because that song. Sorry to keep going on, but
no, go for it, man.
That song grows with time. Like when we dropped that song with the crazy ass cover, which was like, I loved the whole concept of it. Like it, people, they fucked with it. We were spinning it, but over time, that record gets more popular. When I played it at Elsewhere with the show that I did with Tony, like mad people was asking me about that. Like, yo, what, about the song? Cause it's funny too, cause then I think a party before Chihuahua had played a Kumbia record that with a El Chavo sample in it.
Yeah.
So,
yo, what do you think that is? What do you think is like making it like you play it now and it feels like it gains more? Because even thinking about Jersey Club, right? It's been a progression. Now it's like even in like mainstream music when we think about it. But like, what, in your opinion, in your point of view, what has allowed for Jersey Club to reach those points?
I would say there's two things. I would say like in New York, Jersey Club always has hit.
Yeah.
But it just hit in a different way. Like now it's like central, you know what I mean? But there was always joints going on Hot 97 and etc. But I would say specific to us, like with Kumbia and Jersey Club, now a lot of the records, like people really like, they love them, when they hear that it's like two things that they love. You know what I mean? It's obviously the sample's not Kumbia, but when you hear it in the Kumbia record, you hear it in the Jersey record, like it's just cool. And I think it's dope because when you're spinning, you're spinning your Jersey Club. A lot of people, they know it and they love, they love it. They might not like connect to it in the same way, like being around it all the time, but I think it's just a different level now, and all those things come together. Like, when we're doing like the club Kumbia and like doing those type of parties, like Tony, he's really like forward thinking, like, with that, and like being like, I want those to be together because we all came up together and that's what we do.
Hell yeah. That's the one y'all had Lil C4 on, right?
Yeah, shout out to Lil C4, one of the GOATs, one of my favorite producers and artists, and I think a lot of people, so.
Hell yeah. I want to take it back a little more also to the origins of Like That.
Yeah.
Like That, man. That was, you started, we co-founded with Ase Manuel.
Yes, shout out to my man Ase Manuel. I'll say Ase Manuel really started Like That. Me and him started the label together. Shout out to my brother. And Like That Records, Like That World is, it's like everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it has multiple generations now. You know,
That's
yeah.
that's amazing. But in 2016, 2016 is that around the time
Yep,
that y'all started?
the label was founded.
What was the approach? What was the thought process? Why create it at that moment?
You know, it's funny because like me and Ase have spoke on it at different times and together at different times, and like that was at the time we had like the way that we wanted to look at club music, and hip hop music. Like we were doing our parties, and you know, me and Ace, we each had online radio shows that we were like killing it, doing our thing, kind of like, you know, him doing his thing, me doing our thing. Like, you know, we were friends and friendly competition, and and then like we had like our own like view, like, you know, especially because, you know, AC's like one of the greatest producers, man. Just like when it comes, but like particularly when it comes to, you know, Jersey club and electronic music and everything. So he had an album called Gems, and you know, there's so much to the story, so I'm like paraphrasing a lot.
No
but
worries, man.
but check it, like, yeah, I'll say, like, you know, when we founded the label, we wanted to really put out music, like, you know, like albums, like, you know, I think a lot of people at the time were looking at club like it was like white label only, you know, like, or like, you know what I'm saying, like singles and that, you know, which is dope too, you know, I love all of it, so it ain't no problem for me, but we just had like the way that we wanted to do it, and then especially too with the hip hop, like, you know, like with our parties, you know, we always bring artists to like perform, like that's our shit, you know.
Yeah.
And we do that with the club music, with the Kumbia, everything, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
That was like and then we dropped, you know, Ace dropped his Gems album. That kind of changed just like the like trajectory, because that was like, you know, really well received, and you know, like just that was the start.
Yeah, man. Yeah, cause yeah, go for it. Yeah, cause even before the start of Like That, y'all were especially you. I know there was this big moment like in the summer of like 20. No worries. Like in the summer of like 2015, 2016, you were also doing. You kind of mentioned it briefly, but like house party, right? That was also a big thing that you were a part of.
Yeah, I gotta shout out my man Yamez, DJ Yamez, dope DJ, and he showed me a lot. I should have included him in that first question.
Wow, you still can. You still can, bro.
My man Yamez, that's a dope DJ, and just a ill individual. He we used to DJ a lot together. He used to like, so he was doing house party, and he brought me on. Like, he used to be like, yo, come DJ with me. He would always look out for me, make sure I was good, you know, pay me, you know what I'm saying, all that. Like, I appreciated that. And so I started DJing with him, and then that's how I kind of got in the door with that. And I was doing my thing, like, you know, we would probably DJ like every other week, like in the basement, and they would have like Funk Flex and another artist in the main room, and Vashti had a room, and there was like a dance hall room.
Yeah.
And then we would do our thing, and then eventually, because Yamez, he was touring with mad artists, so he went on tour, and then I did my thing, and I brought on Unique, and we were doing our thing. We had our like collaboration party that we were doing. So it was an ill era, man. It was cool.
Was that with Unique? Was that the Action 135?
Yeah. Because she had her 135 party. We had our Hot Action party, which was like a party we did in the Lower East Side, which we you know, we were doing everything that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that party was dope. We were, you know, bring an artist to pop out, and, you know, whoever we were playing, like, you know, a local. When I say local, you know, people use the word local. I mean like artists in the area, and to like pop out, because we were playing their song, come through, perform, and us DJing, doing our thing, you know.
That's fire, man. That's sick. Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned Unique, and I know when we interviewed SJ, he was talking about, like, I asked him, like, well, you know, what brought you here to LA? And he mentioned, like, you know, having these conversations with Unique, with yourself, with DJ Slink, and like how they were saying, like, you know, club is going up, like club music is going up, like, you know, let's move to LA and stuff. But But that's amazing. That's amazing to hear. Like, you know, SJ and Unique and all these people kind of also be a part of that story, a part of the your story, part of the like that story as well.
I think at the end of the day, there's like a lot of different families, a lot of different collectives and artists doing their thing, and you know, everybody's like working, and you see a lot of connections, and people, you know, inspire each other and work with each other, and it's dope. That's the beauty of the art.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And like even now, like that's why I was telling you yesterday when we all got to spin together for the Body High joint. Again, shout out to Henry and Yvonne. That was dope because like me and SJ been DJing together 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. That was really cool to and for y'all all to be there.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hey man, going back to this like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure y'all saw it, but recently, like there was that video of, I think Revolt reposted it, right? Of Megan Thee Stallion before the fame and whatnot. But that was a like that party, right? That was a like that event.
Yep.
And then I look at the video, Bounce Gallery,
Mm-hmm.
and then I look at the video and it's you, and then I see as well Ase Manuel.
Yep.
And then there's also, I think it's Who Dat, right?
Yeah, Who Dat was it. Yep.
And I was like, yo, Who Dat? And I've met Who Dat, but I've met her through Baby Africa.
Okay.
But yo,
the artist.
Yeah, the artist, Baby Africa. Yeah. But hey man, what do you remember about that moment?
So we had booked Who Dat for that party. That was that was a party series that we did called Bounce Gallery, and it was like similar premise. Like, you know, we would bring different artists that were playing their music. You know, me and Ace, particularly at the time, but that's what we do. But particularly at the time, we would play different artists, and at the time, like there was a lot of young women, like young artists doing their thing. And Megan Thee Stallion, her mixtape at the time was going crazy. The what was the name of it? Tina Snow tape. Yeah, it had had like Cognac Queen, and it had like all those tracks. That was crazy. We were playing all of them, and yeah, we would like that was one of a bunch of different. We brought a bunch of different artists for those shows, and but like that was dope, man. And that was that was one of those things. Like me and Ace would just sit around like all right, who gonna get for the next one? Send that email because you know, they're gonna hit you back.
Damn,
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So it's kind of like a cold call. Like let's see what happens and just reach out.
We started doing that, and then it's just like work because we were doing parties. So, you know, if you could kind of like fit it into the budget, and you know, like some of these artists is like. Folks want to come out and perform at like an underground party, like a sick party.
That's true.
And like, especially her at the time, she was bubbling.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason why that video went so crazy is because she was bubbling. Like all that show went particularly crazy because like there's a lot of young people that were like they loved her, and so and then also too I see it having worked with a bunch of artists and brought a bunch of artists. She was like the most easiest person to work with.
Oh,
her mom was her manager at the time, and like she took care of everything. She was so nice. Like she honored her word on a bunch of different stuff. You know, sometimes with artists it's not so easy, and like she really like was great to work with. And then after her allotted time, she chilled for like hours, just like with her on the stage with her fans while we were DJing and shit. It was dope.
Yeah, damn, that's hella cool. That's hella cool, man. Hey, man, when you think of generation, because you're mentioning right now, also like that has had like a few generations of people and projects. Like, how do you think of like that? Like, what are those generations for you?
I think like when like that first started, like that was me and Ace. Like and particularly him. Like, I have really like a lot of like just like respect for like his music. Like that's like a pillar of like that, you know, because he's like an incredible producer and his sound really transformed music and like electronic music at the time, and then it grew because that's what I'm like I said, like my inspiration is like the mixtape DJs. Like I love to do my parties and put out my mixes. I try to touch every radio platform, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I enjoy. So like I'm always like, you know, especially through, you know, that and teaching, I'm always like around different DJs, and I love to see like different sounds and artists come through. That's the fun part, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's like really the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and how I also heard of you, and I've mentioned this before, but it's also through that. When at Mi Sabor y'all had Pop Star Benny.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the shows where I first heard of y'all from all the way here from the West Coast.
Have you done a Pop Star Benny interview?
No, I haven't.
No, that would be. I feel like you guys would do a good. He's great, man. That like he's an early contributor to like that, cause he used to put out beats and remixes, like, cause like him and my man Hundo, they really like
No Gum Hundo.
Yeah, Hundo. Yeah, No Gum Hundo. Like they really kind of like put me on in Atlanta and showed me a lot of different artists, or like put me on to different artists. But he was doing remixes, and like all types of beats and shit. Like if I'm right, I believe 2016, because he was in the first season of like that radio that we did. But yeah, like whenever I do anything, I always like involve Benny. I love Benny. I think he's like one of my favorite artists to play. I'm always like, you know, I rock with Benny. That's my guy.
Hell yeah. But I'm also thinking of like when you're mentioning these generations of
my fault.
Of like that. No, all good. But it's kind of like I also see that like there was that generation or that moment where like that was you know, having parties at Mi Sabor Cafe, right?
Yeah. That's like you know, end of the pandemic, like, you know, when people start like coming outside more, because we used to go to Mi Sabor all the time. It's funny, the first meeting, I feel like Tony said this at some point too. The first time, you know, when Tony was really wanting to, you know, get into the music and all that, like we did a meeting at Mi Sabor, and that's like way before all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the pandemic, because we, you know, the pandemic was crazy, so you know, we started doing our shit over there, because you know, big shout to my man Domingo.
Yeah,
his family. So
who's Domingo? He's the
he that's Mi Sabor right there.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, so I would say like Mi Sabor, to answer that question.
Yeah.
Mi Sabor really was like a canon for like a lot of young artists that's either like that artist, or like, you know, family of ours that we work with, or like, you know, they was around and we worked together in different times, and it was like a place where instead of like us having to, you know, try to get in, you know, like, you know, go through all the different stuff with clubs, is like we have our own spot.
Yeah.
We do what we want to do, and like who we think is dope.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the ones DJing.
Hell yeah. So you got to like a specific like freedom once y'all were there, for sure.
Yeah, cause that's why I say big shout out to Sabor and just everything, because like they believe in, you know, just everything. You know, it's like seeing like Tony, you know, blow up with his Kumbia out of there, seeing like, you know, Mills and Steven Sonidera Blues and Chihuahua, and you know, so many different DJs like do their thing. Swami, Days God, Gum MP3, like incredible DJs that like really you know, did their thing there. So, you know, that's the beauty of Mi Sabor.
Hell yeah, man. And man, and y'all are gonna be having a show there again, like the end of this month, right? It's gonna be you, Mills, and Gum MP3.
Yeah, plus some special guests. But like,
okay.
I'm excited. We're gonna do all vinyl for that, so we're gonna do like vinyl
shit.
sets. Like, yeah,
that's it.
Gum MP3. That's gonna be, his sets is always amazing. And we just did one. We had Tony did a party. My man Axel from Scratch spun. Tipsy spun.
Oh yeah. The 3 years,
Love
right?
Tipsy, yeah.
3-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Man, how's that been for you? Seeing Tones really go from like, you know, early teaching them stuff, and then fucking now seeing 3 years, man. The growth.
Nah, yo, Tones is amazing. Like, El Hijo de Puebla, York. You know what I mean? He, like, Tony, like, especially, you know, there's mad different things I could say when it comes to his success and all the work he put in. But I would say with Tony, like, his contribution of like cumbias mezcladas and like how he DJs, like, I just think that it's like so monumental, and like I love all like the young DJs that's doing their thing, you know, with him, just like all together, like, you know, Tony, Mills, Steven, Sonidera Blues, Mixtaped, of course, the OG Turbo Sonidero.
Yeah.
Just so many DJs that's like, you know, I've been blessed to see them, and like that's really through like, you know, Tony's parties and the stuff that we've all done together. It's beautiful.
Do you remember what the conversation was like when he first said like, oh, or like, you know, I'm trying to spin cumbia into this?
It was more like it wasn't like a conversation. It was more like cause he was DJing, you know, he'll spin like with us like Jersey Club and Indie and like, you know, like that kind of thing. I feel like you might have seen some of those joints that he did. But then we would be doing like that radios, because I was like busy. I forget what was happening, but I was like, yo, record some of these like that radios for me. So he was like, yo, can I throw some cumbia in there? I was like, all right, do it.
Yeah.
And like when he started doing that, I remember the time that I noticed, like I remember that, but like very briefly. What I remember is when we were doing a party, and he threw it in, and like it was a few folks that was like didn't know what was going on, but mad people ran from the bar to go to the floor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, you know, he might, I don't know, I'm curious to see what he'll say, because he might remember the people that like didn't know what was going on, but I just remember being at the shit, it's like mad people was like, oh, he playing cumbia.
Oh wow.
So yeah, like that was like, I feel like that was like when I first seen that moment that he was gonna go that way, because, you know, like it's funny because the way he spins cumbia is the same way that he spin like Jersey Club, like with his drops and all that shit. Yeah,
that's sick, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, going back to you, bro. How do you approach your sets? Like when you're like, you know, making how do you approach them?
For me, like I really just like, whether it be like if I'm doing like a lot set or like a Apple, you know, like one of our, or a Newtown set, or Sirius, I will really try to like play. I really want to like throw new shit your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when I'm out in the clubs and doing my thing, like I really want to make the people dance, and like I will like introduce records, but like I really enjoy like, you know, like doing my thing and just rocking out, you know, party rocking and all that. But that's why I love my like radio, because it's like I really want to like always just bring new shit. So I'll go on SoundCloud, find new shit. If people send me stuff, you know, like the homies, my man Blanco might bless me with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's what I, you know, try to keep it. You know, like only when you hear my set, you're gonna hear those songs.
That's sick, bro. I mean, it goes back to this mixtape, right? It goes back to mixtape, creating mixtapes. And you've recently also gotten into Series 45, and you were talking about DJ Spectacular,
Yeah,
right?
shout out to my man DJ Spectacular. He's the one who has brought me on there, and you know, we work a lot together at Scratch Academy.
Yeah,
right. He's incredible. Like literally, I used to see his DMCs. Like he's like a top turntablist.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He was in the Allies crew, all that. Yeah, shout out to him, man.
But how's that experience been for you now that you're like, you know, out there spinning on Sirius, and it's the radio, it's internet radio, man. It's a big audience too.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
man?
Nah, it's dope, man. Like like I said, like whenever I see a different platform, like in New York especially, but like any, you know, like tomorrow we're gonna go to Dub Lab.
Oh, sick.
But you know, with those, I love that, because it's like, you know, I keep it within my style, but I got something for all of those. I got something for everybody. You know, when I go on Sirius, like, you know, I'm on Shade 45. That's like Eminem's channel. They doing all, you know, really like, you know, classic hip hop, and I can do that. But I'll throw in a lot of new stuff. I was throwing in like some Bruiser Wolf or like SD Knack or like all these artists that I listen to now that I rock with. So.
And Ogum Hundo, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Like Hundo, I always play his songs, and he has some new ones that are really good. Like these like Atlanta bass, because he pushed the Atlanta bass sound heavy. So yeah, it was dope to be able to play his joint. I'm gonna be back on there soon.
Oh shit!
In next like a couple weeks. So yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey man, before we end it, I do want to ask you: is there anything important that you feel we haven't spoken about that you think is important to let the people know?
Nah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like I said before, like I'm just like, I really don't do like that many, you know, interviews or like, you know, like but when you ask me, before you even asked me, I just heard like, yo, Tony want to interview you. I was like, yo, I can't wait to go in there.
No, bro, but like even the way I also view it is like this is kind of the first interview where I feel like it also kind of lays the groundwork, right? It's just a starting point of like who Marvelito is and what he's done. But bro, we see it. We see the fucking impact. We see the influence even from the West Coast.
Yeah.
We see the things that like that has done and keeps doing, right?
For sure.
And of course it includes you. It includes Ase Manuel as well, right? It's both of y'all. But we hope that this is also just a starting point, right? We're asking these questions just because, you know, even if you don't do that many interviews, hopefully this also opens up lanes for people who've never heard of like that, you know?
Absolutely. Nah. I'm very appreciative. Like I said before, you know, seeing your platform from Tony and Turbo Sonidero, and then Mextape and Yuji and Mills. It's been dope, and I love what you do with when you go out.
I appreciate
it. Yeah. And I like how you bring out, like, you're like, you know.
For sure. I do bring this out.
Nah, it's dope. And you touch with different artists, like specifically with hip hop. Like, I'll see you interview hip hop artists, and I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. I fuck with this.
Bro, the exact same way you're thinking about, like, oh shit, how can we push the fucking, you know, introduce something new to the platform. That's what we try to do as well, man. One day we'll have hip hop, the next day we'll have a goth artist.
Yeah.
The next day we'll try to have a ska. We're trying to have some ska artists on the platform too. But I feel like the same way you thinking of DJing music is the same way I think of this platform. It's like, how can we bridge all those things? Because at the same thing you were saying, right? We're all influencing each other in some type of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all interact with one another. So
for sure,
it's there, bro. It's there. So it's always great to have you, to know that you're one of the pillars what this is happening, right? And I'm not just saying that. This is what people are saying, right? And I hope this is just a starting point too, bro.
Not for
this
sure.
Is one
man.
of those introduction interviews that hopefully once you come back here in a year, in 2 years, and bro, we have more to talk about, bro.
I would love that, man. I definitely and I'm gonna be in tune with their radio, man. I'm excited to see what you guys do next. And I'll see you soon, too. I'll be out here again.
Yeah, hell yeah. Marvelito, any last words for the people?
Nah, man. Just, yeah, man. That's really it. Follow me on Instagram, Marvelito.
Hell yeah. Peace.